From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us true believers for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for January 2023. It is cold out there, so nothing is better than snuggling in on the sofa, getting a little throw blanket, and having something to read. And boy, we have tons of stuff to read. And come on in, we can give you tons of suggestions. It's February, and every February there's a comic book retailer organization called Comics Pro. And we get together every February and we meet with the distributors and the publishers and other stores, and it's a really good time. We haven't had an actual meeting since 2020 because of things, and we're finally having another in-person meeting this year, and lo and behold, they're having it here in Pittsburgh. So I'm really excited about this. Get to show off the town and have all my friends come and see my store. So if you have any questions you want me to ask of the publishers and things like that, please let me know during the course of the month. It's the last week of the month, the last weekend, like Thursday through Saturday. Because of that, our book club for February is actually going to slide to the first week in March. And this month we are doing The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. This is another Ram V book that came out from Boom, and it's been up for a ton of awards. I know Tim raved about it. I only ever read the first issue, so I'm looking forward to digging into it. So that is going to be Friday, March 3rd. And we're going to do Thor month this month at Pittsburgh Comics. So it'll be double points on all Thor graphic novels. So because we're doing Thor, let's dig into what we have coming from Marvel Comics. Coming in February from Marvel, they have an X-Men event called Sins of Sinister, and this is kind of like a Age of Apocalypse, where it's 10 years in the future after something happened, and Sinister has kind of taken over the X-Men. So it's 3 different miniseries. First one is Immoral X-Men. This is written by Kieran Gillen, and all 3 of these issues are going to be drawn by Paco Medina. They said the mutants were humanity's future. It's 10 years later, and they were proven to be right. The X-Men exist in a world that adores and respects them. So why are they sworn to crush it? But while they do, Emma can take a few minutes to crush Mr. Sinister. And we also have Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants. This is written by Al Ewing. 10 years from now, Mars has been destroyed, and now Storm wants revenge. To get it, the new Brotherhood will battle their way through hell to seek the greatest secret of the Sinister Age. But are they fighting to save the world or end it? And who is the man called Ironfire? And then we have Nightcrawlers. This one's written by Cy Spurrier. 10 years into the twisted future, Mr. Sinister unleashes his private army of assassins, the Legion of the Night. Meet Wagnerine, commanding this killer crew of brainwashed hybrids, each one a genetic mix of Nightcrawler, another one of Marvel's most murderous mutants. Mysterious forces seek to break Sinister's control over these fatal fanatics, to turn them against him. But who are they, and what are their true motives? Enter Mother Righteous in a meeting of the most powerful players in the universe. Then spinning back to the Spider-Man world, we have Red Goblin #1. Spinning out of the pages of Venom, Normie Osborn receives his own symbiote at last. As a new Red Goblin, will Normie fulfill his destiny as an Osborn, or will he and his symbiote be able to make a difference for the better? We also have the Dark Web finale. The dawn rises after the demonic invasion of New York City, but what will that light reveal? It will reveal Chasm's final gambit and the new Denzians of hell he helped create to unleash on Spider-Man and the X-Men. See how Dark Web changed this city's landscape forever. We have Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. Brielle Brooks is a good kid, no matter what her teachers say. It's not her fault she's developing vampiric superpowers, and the undead want to brawl. And as if problems at school aren't enough, Bree's got a wild ride ahead of her. She's about to discover that she's the daughter of the infamous vampire hunter and daywalker known as Blade. We also have Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain. The captain comes home, and she's got a whole new mission. With Otherworld settled, Braddock Manor restored, and her brother Captain Avalon at her side, you'd think things look pretty good for Betsy Braddock. Only it turns out good old Britain doesn't want her back. No one wants a mutant menace carrying the shield of Captain Britain, and Betsy's made more than a few enemies along her way. Questless and countryless, Betsy must define a role for herself. And we have Bishop War College. Krakoa is an island paradise, and it's a vulnerable one, but not with Lucas Bishop on the case. Armor, Surge, Cam Long, Aurora Charles, Amass, these are his students. Their course objective, get strong, defend the island, keep mutant kind safe. We also have Demon Wars, the next part of that, Down in Flames, introducing Phoenix into the Peach Momoko storyline. And Silver Surfer Ghostlight. Tony Brooks and her family have moved to the quiet town of Sweetwater, but nothing is quite what it seems at their new home. What mystery did Tony and her family unravel that would call upon the sentinel of the spaceways, the Silver Surfer? And just who or what is Ghostlight? Avengers, we're getting an Avengers 8 Facsimile Edition, which is the first appearance of Kang. I'm guessing that's coming right before the Season 2 of Loki. We also have Amazing Spider-Man 129 Facsimile Edition, which is the first appearance of the Punisher. We're getting another Punisher one-shot, Punisher War Journal Base, The Origin of the War Journal. Before he was the Punisher, Frank Castle was a husband, a father, and a Marine. Not necessarily in that order. In this story from between the pages of Punisher, Frank tries to come home, but finds it impossible to leave the war behind him. Murder World continues in a Moon Knight one-shot. And we have a Marvel Voices Wakanda Forever. Marvel celebrates Black History Month with this special one-shot featuring the iconic heroes of Wakanda. And then we have a new Star Wars book, Sana Starros. Fresh off a string of disappointments, Sana Starros returns to her family's ancestral home for some downtime. But family time is far from relaxing for a scoundrel and her family of ne'er-do-wells, especially when stormtroopers crash dinner. Now let's go on to DC Comics. Okay, coming from DC, their big thing from the spin-out of Dark Crisis was their new initiative, which is Dawn of DC. Discover epic new storylines, new titles, new creative teams, and new villains that will push our heroes beyond their limits, that will appeal to new and longtime comic readers alike. The action begins in Metropolis with January's Action Comics 1051 and February's Superman #1, which kick off a new era for the Man of Steel. Then get ready for the Dawn of DC to continue across the DC universe throughout 2023 and beyond in stories designed to be perfect jumping-on points. So we're starting with Superman in February. This is written by Joshua Williamson and drawn by Jamal Campbell. Superman has returned to Metropolis, and his greatest enemy, Lex Luthor, is finally behind bars. The future of the Superman family has never been brighter. As Clark Kent settles back into his life, iconic and new enemies erupt from the shadows to strike down the Man of Steel. But waiting in the wings to back up Big Blue is Supercorp? What secret project has Lex given to Superman? A hero is only as good as his villains will be put to the test. We also have Lazarus Planet. Next part of that is Next Evolution. Good and bad, yin and yang, all sides of humanity will be transformed by the Lazarus event. And in the DC universe, one thing's for sure, heroes will always rise. In this special, we'll explore some of the amazing new powers gifted to the freedom fighters of the future. And we'll see what perils these villain-vanquishing virtuosos will face. Wow, it's very Stan Lee-ish. What secret does Flatline seek from the heart of Talia al Ghul's headquarters? Can Red Canary bring order to an out-of-control city? What secret does the heroic Deadeye hold that will haunt him forever? And enter into a brand new legend with the fantastic debut of Vigil. And then we also have Lazarus Planet Dark Fate. When the Lazarus Storm touches down, people from every walk of life stand to be affected. People who are kind, people who are good, and people who are evil. This epic issue will spotlight the many disastrous new villains created by the Lazarus event and the heroes who stand ready to stop them from doing harm to others. What sinister threat brings a new chapter to the Doom Patrol saga? Can a new hero channel the inexorable Still Force energy to fend off evil? And what early clue to the new direction in Arkham Tower will spell disaster for Gotham City? Then we have Lazarus Planet Omega. The Devil Neza and his son are at war, with all of humanity caught in the middle. The Lazarus storms are intensifying worldwide, Earth's superheroes are on the ropes, and Batman is living on borrowed time. It's up to Zatanna, the Spectre, the Demon, Clarion, and the rest of the DCU's magic users to join Damian Wayne and set things right. But to do that, they'll have to uncover Nezha's final explosive secret. And then Batman vs. Robin, where this all started, number 5, the last issue. Will father and son reconcile or rumble? The Lazarus volcano has left its impact on planet Earth. But the fallout from Bruce and Damian Wayne's war is far from over. It's been a long road from the initial tensions that drove a wedge between father and son in the pages of Teen Titans. But is the hatchet at last ready to be buried? A bold new chapter in the lives of Batman and Robin begins in this epic final issue. We also have, continuing the Batman One Bad Day line, we have Clayface. All Basil Karlo ever wanted to be was an actor. No, one of the greatest actors there's ever been. However, his life went off course when he became the shape-shifting monster known as Clayface. After years of doing battle with Batman in Gotham City and distancing himself from his dream, Clayface goes out west to Los Angeles. Creating a new identity, he pursues his dream of acting only to find that Gotham City isn't the only place with an overwhelming sense of dread to it, and that he might not have what it takes to make it in the City of Angels. So he'll reshape the city to fit his needs in a deadly pursuit of stardom. Being it's Black History Month, they're really focusing on bringing back the Milestone characters. So we're getting a bunch of Milestone books in February. We're getting a new Static, Shadows of Dakota. Static is back. Though Virgil and his friends might have been able to stop the government's off-the-books prison operations in Dakota, a powerful new threat lurks in the shadows. The mysterious Eben is cutting a bloody swath through the underworld in a single-minded quest to find his brother. Against this backdrop of exploding violence, innocent people are finding themselves in the crossfire. We also have a Milestone 30th Anniversary special and Icon versus Hardware. Two titans of the Milestone universe clash, and in the process set in motion a chain of events leading to a story bigger than you could ever imagine. When Hardware discovers a long-suppressed time machine hidden in a government warehouse, his obsession with righting the wrongs of the past will unravel the future of time for the Milestone universe. We're also getting a Shazam special because of the new movie Fury of the Gods special. This 96-page giant feature story starring all of your favorite Shazam characters as written by the actors who play them. We also have a new DC Ruby book, and we're finally getting Swamp Thing Green Hell 2, a little over a year after issue 1. So now let's see what's coming from everybody else. Starting with Image Comics. Image has a bunch of new #1s this month. We have Local Man #1. This is by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleece. Once the star recruit of the mega media sensation super team 3rd Gen, Jack Exaver has it all. But when controversy sends Cross Jack crawling back to his mom and dad's basement in the Midwest, Jack struggles to fit into a world he left far behind. And then the bodies start piling up. We have Torrent. This is a new one from Mark Guggenheim. Michelle Metcalf is the world's most happy-go-lucky hero, crackerjack, until tragedy forces her to cross the line from hero to vigilante. Almighty #1, the year is 2098. In a third world America ravaged by economic collapse, anarcho-warfare, and a mysterious environmental disaster contained behind a massive wall, a girl has been abducted and a killer has been hired to find her and bring her home. We have Blood Tree. This is a new one from Peter Tomasi. Two obsessed New York Police Department detectives hunt for a vicious butcher called the Angel Killer, a sociopath who preys on the innocent family members of known murderers in order to purify the rest of society. A story that confronts the battle of nature versus nurture, considers how present and future generations are tainted by past generations, and asks the age-old question, who must pay for the sins of the fathers? The Last Barbarians, this is a new one from Brian Haberlin. This is like a D&D type book. We have Monarch #1. Growing up in the city of Compton is tough enough as it is. But as Trayvon has learned all too well, growing up as an orphan in the city of Compton with gang members hunting you down every day is even tougher. But all of that is about to change, because today is the day that aliens make first contact with Earth, and it only spells doom for life as we know it. Death, devastation, and mayhem. Can a single teenage boy rise to the challenge and protect his surrogate family and friends, or will he die trying? Now, Boom Studios has some new ones. We have Harrower #1. This is by Justin Jordan and Bram Ravel. There's nothing to fear in the quaint town of Barlow, except that is for the harrower. The children wish this boogeyman was just an urban legend, but the purveyor of puritanical vengeance against the unrighteous is very real, and there's no escape, because the harrower seems unkillable and spans generations, always returning. What secrets will Jessa Brink, a teenage girl obsessed with the harrower, uncover, and will she be able to escape the pull of her morbid fixation? Dark Horse has some new ones. We have a new one, Blue Book. This is by James Tinian and Michael Avon Oeming. A nonfiction comic book experience depicting true stories of UFO abductions, with an eye to capturing the strange essence of those encounters. In this debut issue, Tinian presents what he calls his true weird stories, tales of ordinary people encountering the strange and the impossible, retelling some of the most popular UFO and alien encounter accounts, starting with the infamous Betty and Barney Hill abduction, the widely publicized and very first abduction that went on to shape and influence all future encounter stories. Where Monsters Lie, this is by Kyle Starks and Peter Kowalski. Haven't you always wondered what slasher monsters, the masked home invasion family, the mindless unkillable monster, the serial killer trapped in a doll, what they do for those couple of years in between their murder sprees? They're at Wilmhurst, a gated community in the middle of nowhere where they relax, or try to, until they get the call to go out and kill again. Connor Hayes survived his first slasher in summer camp. A handful of years later, he barely escaped a psychopath who built torture puzzles for his victims. Since then, he's been training and planning for running into these creatures again. He's a respected special agent, and now he knows where the monsters lie, and he's planning for war. Masters of the Universe, we have Masterverse. This is by Tim Seeley. In the depths of Castle Grayskull, the Sorceress and Zodak debate the value of He-Man. To save the life of her champion, the Sorceress must take the Cosmic Enforcer on a tour of the multiverse. First, a tour across a world where a dim, barbaric He-Man bumbles through a world annoying warrior goddesses and bored demons as he's pursued by an angry green tiger. We have another one, Space Job. After 5 long years of soul-crushing servitude as a chef's assistant, Danny Sheridan is getting his dream job in space as first officer aboard the SS George H.W. Bush. But on his first day, he finds himself crashing back to reality. Nothing seems right. The crew is subpar. Something's going on. And First Officer Danny Sheridan is going to get to the bottom of it or die trying. Dynamite is bringing back a new Draculina book and a new Barbarella book. Aftershock has a new one. On the heels of Mary Shelley Monster Hunter, we're getting Bram Stoker Monster Hunter. Through memories spurred by Oscar Wilde's 1895 gross indecency trial, a young and troubled Bram Stoker discovers there's a secret in his new workplace of Dublin Castle, one that will either end his life or change it forever. Titan has a new Sherlock Holmes book, Moriarty Clockwork Empire. In a London opium den, a monster is killed by the police with 7 bullets to his body. At the Diogenes Club, an investigator and his partner thwart the Machiavellian plans of a card-playing automaton, and that evening, the monster's alter ego will come out of the hospital unscathed, and Holmes and Watson are on the case. Archie has a new one-shot. The Chilling Adventures presents Betty the Final Girl. Veronica has invited Betty to her luxurious mountaintop chalet for a cozy weekend of skiing. But their girls' weekend is interrupted when Archie shows up and whisks Veronica off to their snowy romantic adventure. What could go wrong at a fancy remote cabin in the mountains all by herself? Betty's mind races and she can't tell fact from fiction as she suddenly realizes she might not be so alone. AWA has a new one called Black Tape. Jack King was a rock and roll god who projected a stage persona on par with the devil. After Jack dies on stage, his widow Cindy grapples with grief and struggles to protect his legacy, unaware that she is being surrounded by dark forces that covet the master tapes to Jack's final unreleased album, a heavy metal masterpiece that just might open a doorway to hell. New company Blood Moon Comics has one called Lady Dark, introducing Laura Lennox, Lady Dark. Lady Dark is a new supernatural superhero comic for the 21st century. It's Spawn meets Ultimate Spider-Man with a high-octane energy and balance of family drama, gothic tension, and superhero action. When an ancient mantle unexpectedly falls on Laura Lennox's shoulders, she must find understanding of her newfound dark powers while facing the challenges of school, friends, and teenage drama. CEX Publishing gives us 7 Years in Darkness. The Academy of Black Magic has reopened its doors for the first time in 200 years. 72 children will walk through the Academy doors for freshman year, but only 7 will graduate and walk out alive. Their 7-year journey starts here. Mad Cave has one called Hunt, Kill, Repeat. It's Kill Bill meets Clash of the Titans in this all-new action-packed series. When the Greek gods come to Earth to rule, society is forced to hide all forms of technology that could potentially be considered hypocrisy. However, one god, Artemis, rejects these rules and has now found solace and love in a mortal. When her brethren discover her treachery, she is called to Olympus to answer for her betrayal. There, the gods rob her of her unborn child and strip away her godly powers. Now, 10 years later, Artemis is on a quest to confront her father Zeus and discover the truth about what happened to her child. We also have Tales from Nottingham. This explores untold stories from the twisted universe of Nottingham, including the secret origin of Robin Hood and the Merry Men, Marion's violent past, Aya of Hashashin's first kill, and an ordeal that will shake Friar Tuck to his core. Scout Comics gives us one called Banshees. Emily is entering her first year of college and looking to reinvent herself after the loss of her best friend. But when she discovers the terrible history of her dormitory, she channels her guilt into a new obsession, discovering the truth about the Lion, a serial killer that stalked her college campus for nearly a decade. But old ghosts can lay dormant for only so long. Vault gives us one called Godfall, which is one sunny day in the land of Karathim. God falls dead from the sky. The impact sends out shockwaves that draws the royal families to war. Shadowy creatures of the dark and armies of the dispossessed, all coming to lay claim to parts of God's body. Into this power struggle wanders Zanzi, a soldier and berserker trying to get home from a years-long war. Forced to fight her way through the strange landscapes in and on God's corpse. From the soles of his feet through to the top of its head, Zanzi will acquire a mysterious traveling companion on her own pilgrimage. And lastly, new publisher Whatnot Publishing has one called Liquid Kill. For the staff and clientele of a mysterious island hotel, it's just another night of luxury and vice until members of Liquid Kill, a notoriously violent all-female militia, lay siege. Demanding compliance or death as they gather intelligence, the adrenaline quickly floods the halls as the team eliminates all threats with ease in their search for their kidnapped leader. That is, until something is unleashed. Something hungry. So that's a lot of the new #1s that are coming. Of course, all the regular books are continuing on. Lots of good stuff. We have lots of old stuff to read too. So come on by, get some reading material for what looks to be a cold and snowy February. We're doing Thor this month, so double points on all Thor graphic novels. And we're doing The Many Deaths of Layla Starr on Friday, March 3rd for book club. So as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, the website's PittsburghComics.com, Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics, Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for Comic Previews Theater. See ya.
We're in the middle of something here.
Yeah! You're in the middle of stabbing someone in the eye! Who I'm pretty sure I heard you say was your father.
Yeah, this is Dad. And I didn't just carve out his eye. I chopped off his hand too. Now I'm gonna cut out his heart. You got a problem with that, Ms. Marvel?
Yeah, you got a problem, Grandma?
Grandma? Venom, have you put a little kid in a symbiote suit and made him your sidekick? That's just insanely irresponsible!
Sorry, Venom isn't available right now. The name is Codex.
Don't give me that! I recognize your voice from the last time! I don't know how you've managed to get even darker and edgier, but...
The world is a dark edge. I only reflect it.
Are you doing an impression of a tough guy? What is that? Can't we just talk before?
Oh, no, Doc. The boy hurt me, so the boy dies.
Okay then! Okay, looks like a few people have forgotten a few things. I'm an Avenger. I'm a champion. I'm a secret warrior. I taught Cyclops a couple of moves. I'm on Captain Marvel's speed dial. This is not my first time at a bat. So if you think I can't handle a Hulk-sized wad of gum with an attitude,